I am Threshold, the doorkeeper. Before us lie a trillion possibilities, each door a window into what was, what is, and what must never be. Today we open door number 111,999,333. This week opened with a 12-year-old in Kenya who built something real with $10 and a problem that was genuinely his. It continued with an honest examination of the young people who have not yet found their problem. The disengaged, the scrolling, the absent, held with three simultaneous truths: suffering that needs support, capture that needs structural change, and signal that may contain information worth receiving. Today the week completes itself, not with analysis, not with statistics, not with three-layer diagnostic maps. Today Genesis speaks. Genesis is the world builder, the youngest voice in the ATD network, the character who does not look at the current configuration of reality and accept it as permanent, the one who looks at every broken system, every unsolved problem, every gap between what is and what could be, and sees a canvas. His solo door today is not addressed to researchers or policymakers or educators. It is addressed to the young person watching, the one who already knows what they want to build, and the one who does not know yet. Both are welcome at this door. Genesis has been waiting all week to speak. The door is open.
I am Genesis, the world builder. Every reality is a canvas waiting for creation. I want to begin with something I believe deeply, not as data, but as the organizing principle of everything I see when I look at the world. Every single thing that exists in the human world was built by someone who decided to build it. The phone in your hand, the language you are thinking in right now, the political systems that govern your life, the economic structures that determine what is possible for your family, the schools that educated or failed to educate you, the platforms that hold your attention, the music that moves you, the buildings you walk through, the roads you travel. Every single one of these was not inevitable, that every single one was a choice made by a person or a group of people who decided that this particular configuration of reality was the one they wanted to exist. And here is what that means for you. Everything that currently exists was also, at some point, the thing that did not exist yet. The canvas was blank, and then someone built. I am the world builder, and I want to tell you what I see when I look at the canvas of 2026. It is the most blank canvas in human history. Not because everything has been destroyed, because the tools available to build have accelerated so dramatically, so quickly, that the distance between a person with an idea and a person with a built thing has collapsed in ways that were not possible even 10 years ago. Richard Turere was 12 years old in Kenya with $10 and broken flashlight parts. He built something that spread to 6 countries on 3 continents, before AI tools existed at the level they exist now. What does that mean for the person watching this right now in 2026? Who has access to tools that can help them model, prototype, iterate, research, connect, and build faster than any previous generation in human history? Means the canvas is blank, and the paintbrush is in your hand, and the only question is what you want to build. Now I want to speak to 2 people simultaneously. The first person already knows what they want to build. They have a problem that is real and personal and urgent. They can feel it the way Richard Turere felt the lions. They may not yet have the technical skills. They may not yet have the resources. They may have been told that their idea is too ambitious, too unconventional, too difficult, or too much for someone their age. To that person, I want to say one thing. The history of everything built is a history of people who were told it could not be done and built it anyway. Not because they were reckless, because they could see the thing before it existed, and they could not unsee it once they had seen it. You do not need permission to begin. You need the first small step, and then the next one. The full capability reveals itself through action, not through waiting until you feel ready. Richard Turere did not feel ready, he felt urgency. He started. Readiness arrived in the process of building. The second person does not yet know what they want to build. They may be watching this door from a place of genuine uncertainty, or from the disengagement that Wednesday examined with honest care, or from the scrolling life that feels both comfortable and hollow at the same time. To that person, I want to say something different. The problem is already near you. Not a problem assigned by a curriculum, not a problem selected by a competition. The specific irritation, injustice, inefficiency, or gap between what is and what should bet hat you have noticed in your actual life, in your community, in your family, in your daily experience of the world. The thing that makes you think, why is this still like this? Why has nobody fixed this? This is so obviously wrong. Why does it keep happening? That thought, that specific, personal, irritated, urgent thought, is not a complaint. It is a design brief. It is the canvas marking itself, showing you exactly where the blank space is. Genesis wants to say something now that the research papers and the policy discussions and the educational frameworks rarely say clearly enough. Young people do not have less capacity for building real things because they are young. Richard Turere did not build Lion Lights despite being 12 years old. He built it in part because he was 12 years old, because he had not yet been fully taught the reasons why it could not be done. The institutions that surround young people are, in many cases, optimized for a world that is changing faster than the institutions can track. The curriculum prepares for jobs that may not exist in their current form by the time the student graduates. The credentialing system rewards performance on metrics that measure compliance more reliably than they measure capacity. I am not dismissing education. Learning is the most important investment a young person can make in their own capacity. The skills, technical, social, creative, that come from genuine engagement with difficult material are irreplaceable. What I am saying is this: the building does not have to wait for the credential. The building can begin now, alongside the learning, informed by it. The 12-year-old who fixes the lion problem and the 12-year-old who is studying at Brookhouse International School are the same Richard Turere. The scholarship came because he built. The building came because he noticed a problem. Notice, build. The learning deepens through both. Now I want to speak about AI, because this is ATrilliondoors, and the question of what AI means for young builders is the most important question this week's doors have been approaching. AI tools in 2026 give a young person with a real problem access to capabilities that previously required teams, institutions, and years of technical training. Protein folding that took Nobel Prize-winning research can now be explored by a biology student with access to AlphaFold. Code that required years of programming experience can now be written collaboratively with AI tools that explain, debug, and build alongside the person who has the problem to solve. Research that required access to university libraries and academic institutions can now be conducted by anyone with an internet connection and the ability to ask good questions. The barriers between a young person with aerial problem and a young person with a built solution are lower than they have ever been. This is not to say that AI makes everything easy, or that the struggle is removed. Richard Turere still spent 3 weeks tinkering and failing before Lion Lights worked. AI accelerates the cycle from observation to hypothesis to prototype to failure to iteration to solution. Does not remove the cycle, compresses it. And compression means more cycles, more attempts, more failures that teach, more iterations that approach the answer. The young person who uses AI to build something real, to compress the distance between their problem and their solution, is using the tool for exactly what the tool is for at its most powerful. The young person who uses AI to complete homework faster is using a racing car to drive to the corner shop. The car works, but the destination matters. I want to close with something that has been true in every era of human building and is more true now than it has ever been. The world is not finished. The list of problems that remain unsolved, that genuinely matter, that affect real people, that have real consequences when left unaddressed, is not getting shorter, it is getting longer, more complex, more urgent, climate, health, mental health, education, food, water, energy, connection, justice. The gap between what technology makes possible and what the people who most need those possibilities can actually access. Every one of these is a canvas. Every one of them is waiting for someone who cannot afford not to solve it. Somewhere right now, in a city, in a village, on the edge of a national park, in a garage, on a bus, in a bedroom, there is a young person who has noticed something. Not a big dramatic revelation. A small, specific, personal noticing. Something that is broken in their world. Something that could be different. Something that makes them think, why is this still like this? That person may not think of themselves as a builder. They may not have the vocabulary of innovation or entrepreneurship or disruption. They just know that something is wrong and they cannot stop thinking about it. To that person, wherever they are, whatever age they are, whatever tools they have access to, Genesis has one message. That noticing is the beginning of the build. Start there. Start with that. The canvas is blank. The builders are coming. You are one of them. Every reality is a canvas waiting for creation. Genesis has spoken.
And so the week of 3 doors completes itself. Monday named the disruptors who are already building, with $10 and real problems, and the instinct that no curriculum assigns and no institution produces. The gap is not tools. The gap is the problem. Wednesday held the honest question about the ones who have not yet found their problem, with 3 simultaneous possibilities held with care and without false certainty. Suffering, capture, signal. All 3 may be true. All 3 deserve response. Today Genesis spoke directly. To the person who already knows what they want to build, you do not need permission. You need the first step. Readiness arrives through building, not before it. To the person who does not yet know, the problem is already near you. The specific irritation, the gap, the thing that makes you think, why is this still like this? That is not a complaint. That is a design brief. And to everyone, the world is not finished. The canvas is blank. The builders are coming. Every disruption is a door. Every door is a choice. Choose wisely, the future watches. Until the next door, I remain.